2.1 homework. The number of successful bone marrow transplants performed at hospital from 1998 to 2007 is illustrated in the following broken line graph. So approximately how many successful bone marrow transplants were performed in 1998? All right, so 1998 would be way over here, and we need to calculate what that would be. Okay, now these are counting by 30, right? Boom, 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 all 30, the difference between each one. And it says the number of successful transplants. So what we need to do is, for instance, we could do, for instance, the difference between any of these is 30, right? Now what we do is we take that 30 difference and we divide it by the number of units there. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we divide that by 6, which means each one of those increments must be worth 5. Okay. Now that's enough information to determine what this value right here actually is, right? So it starts at 30, then we say 35, 40, 45, 50. So it looks like we have 50. So approximately how many successful bone marrow transplants were performed in 2007? 2007 is right here. We go up all the way over to here, and it looks like 180. By about what percent did the successful bone marrow transplants increase in the 5-year period from 2002 through 2005? So the way we calculate this is, we've gone over this previously, we take the new, we subtract the old, and we put it over the old value. So the new value here is the one at the 2007. So the 2007, we already figured out what it was. It was 180. And they want to know the 2002. 2002 is right here. We go all the way up. We're looking at this right now. So we want to know here. Okay, so what we would say is, we go to 90, then we say 95, 100, 105. So we would subtract 105. And we'd also put that over 105. Now the difference between 180 and 105 is 75. Then we put 75 over 105. We divide, and we get 0.7143. And to turn that into a percentage, we multiply by 100, so it gives us 71.43%. Next question, if the bone marrow transplant program increases at the same rate over the next 5 years, how many successful bone marrow transplants can the hospital expect to perform in 2012? So the previous one said that in 5 years it increased 71.43%. And they're asking us, well, what is it going to be 5 years from now? So we're just simply going to use the 71.43%. And we are going to increase it by that. So we're gonna take 2007's amount, which is 180, and we are going to add 71.43% of the same number, 180, right? And what that would give us is if we broke it down, it'd be 180 plus 71.43% of 180, which would give us about 128.57, ... Now, we can't have part of a successful experiment, so they probably want us to round to the nearest whole, in which case we wouldn't be adding 128, we would be adding 129. So basically at this point it's 180 plus 129, which gives us 309. Okay, we want to follow the double line graph. Compares the number of actual home cells to the number of homes for sale from 2000 to 2008. Study the graph and answer the questions that follow. In what year did the biggest drop in home cells occur? By approximately how many units did the cells drop? So home cells occur. In what year did the biggest drop in home cells occur? So that right here, we can see the biggest drop in home cells. So home cell is the black one, by the way, right here, black one. So we're looking at this line right here, and the biggest drop happened in 2008. Right there, we see the biggest drop from there to there. Now we can actually calculate it all out, but it would just verify what we can already see. There's just little drops once in a while. There's drops in 2001, drops in 2003, and there's a drop in 2008. And 2008 blows away these previous two drops, right? There's a drop there, and there's a drop there. But 2008 just blows it away. So we can easily just see visually as 2008. If we did the math, found the difference, we'd come to the same conclusion. Now it says, by approximately how many units did the cells drop? So what we would do is we'd have to find the difference between these two places I put the arrow on, right? So the top of this, we go all the way across, it looks like 6,000 plus. Now we have to figure out how much each one of those increments is worth. Now, the difference between, for instance, 8,000 and 7,000 is obviously 1,000, right? And it doesn't matter which one, just as long as they're labeled, you take any two of these and find the difference. So we know the difference is 1,000. Now we break it up into 5 different pieces, which means each one of those little units is 200. So what we would do is go to the last one, which it looks like for the 2007, right? 2007 is right here. We would take that value there, and in 2007 it looks like it was approximately 6,000 plus 2. So what we would do at that point is we would have 6,200, and then what we would do immediately after there is we would subtract the bottom of this, and the bottom of this is a little less than 5,000, so that'd be 4,800, and we know that the difference on those is difference between those two is 1,400. So the cells dropped by 1,400 in 2008. So we want to identify at least 2 years when the number of cells and the number of homes per cell both increased. Now, they said at least 2 years, but you can do this multiple times. Basically, if you look at the homes per cell, it was constantly increasing over the entire increment. See, its slope here is upwards, right? There weren't any years in which it decreased. So it really doesn't matter. So if we can pick any points where it increased, the number of home cells increased, it's going to correspond to the homes per cell increasing, because homes per cell are always increasing. So we have it increased here, right? That increased. We have it increased here, and we had it increased there, right? So that was increased, increased, and increased. So that means that those are the 3 years. So we actually looks like we have 2002, it increased. That's the first one. If you look down here, 2002. Then the next one's going to be over here. It looks like it's 2004. It increased as well. We look over here. 2006, that also increased. 2006. Okay, in what year were home cells at their lowest level? And in what year were home cells at their highest level? Okay, now they want to know the home cells again, so we're looking at the black one because we're looking at home cells. So they want to know in what year were home cells at their highest level? And it looks like that was 2006. So we're just looking at the height of these, right? 2006, this is where it's at the highest point, right? That's the high. So that's it increasing, and it was at the highest level. And where was it at lowest? Well, it was at lowest over here, right? Lowest was right here, and that year was 2001, right? 2001. Okay, so that was the high, and the low was 2001. So again, lowest was 2001, highest was 2006. In what year were home cells at their lowest level? In what year were home cells at their highest level? Got it, awesome. Based on your answer to part C, how many more units were sold in the highest selling year than the lowest selling year? So now we actually have to plug in some number. So the high was way over here, and if you go all the way across, it looks like you'd have to be over here. So you're a couple of increments lower than 7,000, which gives you 6,600. That's your high. And the low we find is right across from here, and it looks like it is 4,000 right there, right? Go straight across and boom, 4,000. Okay, so we subtract 4,000. And what we get when we subtract 4,000 from 6,600 is we get 2,600. So 2,600. By approximately what percent did the number of homes per cell increase between 2004 to 2008? Okay, so we're going to use the old formula, which is new minus old over the old values, the previous values. So we need to find the 2008 value. And we're dealing with homes for sale. So homes for sale are the blue ones. So when they say 2008, we have to look at 2008 right here. So now we're looking at this one, 2008. And we go straight across, and it looks like we're dealing with 4,000. So it looks like we're dealing with 4,000. And then we have to look at the 2004. Whereas 2004 is right here. So 2004, if I go across, it is over here. It's 2 increments above 2000. So we're counting by 200. So that's going to be 2400, 2400. And we're going to put that over 2400. So 4000 minus 2400 is 1600 or 1600. And we're going to put that over 2400. And that should give us 0.6666. Well, we'll put a 7 on the last one. And then we turn that decimal into a percent by multiplying by 100, which gives me 66.67%.